Good evening out there, Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide fans, racing fans in general. I'm One Free Fitz. I'm joined here on commentary with Dr. DT, and we are going to be showcasing a very interesting mode, little race here, submission for the upcoming Final Fantasy I Randomizer Summer Marathon. Super excited about that. Dr. DT, what's going on here? I see in the chat chaos, dungeon crawl. These are words. What do they mean?
Yeah, that's right. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. DT. So what we're going to be seeing here with Nobody War and Jexrock is a mode that we call Chaos Crawler. Chaos Crawler is a combination of chaos flags, which means that the flags are all randomly selected from a chaotic set of possibilities. So the racers don't know exactly what they're going to get going into this. We can see Nobody War scanning through what the flags are on the left side of the screen here. So it's a combination of chaos flags with dungeon crawl mode. Now, dungeon crawl mode is a entrance randomizer for Final Fantasy VI. Not just entrances, it is a full door randomizer. So every area in the game, any door you walk into can take you anywhere else in the game. It's all of the doors are shuffled when the seed is rolled to create an entirely new map. I have had the pleasure of working on dungeon crawl mode and entrance randomizer in general over the last couple of years, and what's come out of it, this chaos crawler mode, is really fun, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and kick off our runners here and let them get underway. Dungeon crawler chaos. So the flags are definitely kind of a random assortment. I rolled completely awful. We would have been here for like 3+ hour sort of chaos settings. But it's my understanding it really randomizes all of the flags within like some parameters so that
yeah, that's right.
We don't get something entirely awful, but I really pushed the boundaries on, I think, the difference between pure chaos and regular chaos.
You really have a special touch with the Seedbot Fitz.
Mm-hmm. We're best friends.
So did you see anything particularly interesting in the flags while they were scrolling through here? I see we've got unlock with 6 characters or 7... 2 of 6 characters, 7 espers, and or 1 dragon. That doesn't seem too terrible, actually.
Yeah, much lower requirements than, what early tuners in would have been able to see. I think, we're going to start with 3 characters. We have random commands, so we can potentially see duplicates. Really, the random drops are always fun. That caught my eye. The original shops, so
yeah. So this is a nice feature of Chaos Crawler. They add in the and loot flag, which is random drops and steals. That helps a lot because in standard Worlds Collide, you generally know where your treasures are, and you're going to start off your seed usually by going and looting, either in South Figaro or in Returner's base or something like that. But as you can see on Jexrox's screen, now that the doors are all randomized, you don't know where to find your treasures, and so the randomized loots and steals helps a lot with getting some gear to get going in the game.
Wow, yeah. I'm just going to be confused the whole time for a while here.
Yeah, so Nobody War, kicking things off just with a battle on the world map and finding an economizer as a drop here. Meanwhile,
indeed, that was like a Leafer and Darkwind. Where are they? Was a surprisingly I thought they were outside of Narsh. I was like, that's like a vanilla encounter for it being random encounters. There is a 14% chance that our runners will run into a boss in the random encounter pool. So it'll be fun if we see one of those. The other thing that caught my eye is the scaling is pretty aggressive, so that means as our runners make progress, the enemies will go up in levels significantly. So I'll be curious kind of see how everyone deals with that. With the original shops, I would say, well, let's go buy Super Balls in the Super Ball shop, but we kind of have to find it, hopefully, first, right?
Yeah, so Jexfrock has found, he's going from one hub to another. He's found the Imperial Castle here, which we added in as a hub for this mode. Helps you get around from place to place. Just kind of poking around, seeing what he's got there. Nobody War, going and checking out the shop on the airship. One of the few shops that you can always find in this mode.
Yeah, that is a nice to have. Item prices are kind of randomized in big number ranges, and I think sell prices are a quarter. So it's not quite a full-on barter situation, but I think the prices make our consumables more expensive relatively. You know, when a Phoenix Down can cost the same as much as a Mega Elixir, those can be harder to find. Throw is also excluded from a command. It would be hard to use anyway.
Sure,
you'd be relying on like farming random stuff from the land, which with the drops could be like viable.
Could be if you get enough of it. Over on the right, we see Jexfrock has found one of the a room that in dungeon crawl mode you tend to save scum in. This is the 3 pits drop room in Esper Mountain. And there's a save point right next to it, so you can drop down one of them, and if you don't like what you find, you can drop down another one. Here, he's taking his chances in Bowser's basement.
Now, are those drops like one-way doors, or...?
That's right. So in the door randomizer, the doors are randomized, and also the one-way exits are randomized. So that includes the pits in Umara's Cave, the pits in Esper Mountain. It includes the hook exits in Magitech Factory, and there are a couple of them in Magitech Factory. It even includes a particular exit that nobody knows about in the Phantom Train. If you climb up on top of the second train car, there is a one-way pit that you can fall into, and in the vanilla game, it takes you into the interior of the second train car. In this mode, who knows where it takes you? Meanwhile, Jex has found Thamaza, so in dungeon crawl mode, the towns are mixed in with with all of the rest of the rooms. So I think this is the first town he's found, and he is fully looting it. Got an ice shield for his trouble. That's really nice.
Yeah, I imagine it's good to find a town.
Yeah,
I dabble in like the Earthbound Ancient Cave randomizer, so like I've swam in these confusing waters before. That's a little bit different because finding towns usually means like finding like a save point and being able to kind of like anchor somewhere. But I know a lot of times with like the map randomizers, that's like a common sort of thing, is like finding a nice place to like lay a save and then be able to make like progress from there.
Yeah. So you don't always get a save point in the towns in Final Fantasy VI. In fact, you rarely do. But you do have inns, and I have noticed that when I'm playing Chaos Crawler, I'll very often use the inns just to get that recovery, especially when items cost this much.
And don't sell for very much either.
So Nobody War, having taken a few more battles just to get his levels up on the world map, is now starting to dive in at Jador. Still taking fights here. Did we say this was split experience? Is that something I heard?
I think that was the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one we threw away. Could be farming items. I really don't. I'm curious, kind of just like the approach to this. Like I know in a lot of maze situations and approaches to kind of put your hand on one wall, so to speak, and follow it until we hit a dead end. But you know, we're trying to pick up those characters, espers and dragons, along the way. I saw Dream. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. So Jexrock went to sleep in Thamaza, which in the vanilla game, of course, takes you into Burning House. Here, because the one-way exits are randomized, that took him into Cyan's Dream, and he saw a couple of Cyan's Dream scenes there before ending up in, I think, one of the Serpent Trench interior rooms. Yeah. And here, Serpent Trenches led him to the middle platform in Esper Mountain. Meanwhile, looks like nobody has found a boss. Was this a random boss, or is this
That is a good question.
Is this a check? I missed it. I was looking at Jex.
We found super balls.
He must have grinded those off of a fight. That's very handy. It's a great find.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do know that there's a chance of bosses in any encounter, both fixed and random. So,
did you see what chance that is?
Let me pull up the old reference here. I still got the flags up. Random encounters are a 14%. Fixed encounters are a 20% of a boss. Okay. And they have about a 4 in 5 chance of being escapable.
Well, that was just a random fight, and he is putting on a Moogle charm.
Ooh, I saw Jax just got 3 dice drops.
Ooh, wow.
That everyone in the party can use.
That is a great find for Jexrock. Those fixed dice, they do well. The fact that they do well enough at the end game just kind of underscores how overpowered they are in the early game. Unlike everything else, they scale just with your level, but in the early game, they hit real hard.
Do we need to find the entrance to Kefka's tower?
We do not. So when I was making this, I floated that as a possibility to the people on the Discord, the friends of Entrance Randomizer, and they said, no, no, no. Please, please do not randomize the entrance to KT. For what it's worth, I know how to do it, but I was asked politely not to.
I can, yeah.
And to be fair, I think they're probably right. It's enough of a pain finding checks in the dungeon here without having to also find the end boss.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, is like kind of what is the like strategy for finding.
Is this? Nope, this is World of Balance Narsh. You cannot fight Tritok here.
And where do warp stones take us if we use them?
So warp should take you back to your last position on the world map. No, I guess it takes you all the way back to the airship. That was a safety feature I put in at the beginning. Warp stones take you back to the airship just in case something else breaks. It's actually really nice. No matter where you are, no matter how lost you are in the maze, you can always get back out to the world map.
That is nice. So that's really like, and there's a heal on the airship and a shop, so it's like a nice base of operations as we...
That's right. And here we go. Both of our runners have found a check. Jexrock with the Imperial Camp and Nobody War with Vargas.
Yeah, this Narapa fight is definitely doable. We don't have any of the easy tools here. They do kind of do some dangerous stuff if we let them hang around for too long.
Looks like Realm's still got her memento ring on, so she's safe. And Wombat ought to take care of this, I would think. Over time. Oh no, he's flying. She's flying.
Floater, yeah. Maybe we have, I think, so there's some Doom darts flying around, potentially. If those are not regular darts.
Oh, did Jex take the L on that? I wonder why. I missed it.
We saw level It might have been an inescapable level magic encounter.
Yeah, that would be a pain. Aha!
There we go.
Snare takes Narappa out.
Yeah, the poor wombats couldn't reach, but
First
hole
blood
in the
here,
ground.
getting Grotto.
Magic power +2, but
power
realm
+2.
cannot equip.
Well, something for Sabin to do.
And we found the deep inside of Zone Eater. Oh, I'm tracking. 1 Esper. Boop.
Jex has gotten fed up with where he was and has started poking around elsewhere on the world map, finds the Colosseum. Colosseum is a nice find. You can at least check and see if anything is worth getting here.
What kind of goods we got here? We should have like between like 50 and 140 rewards available. Nothing too big there. You know, we need sprint shoes. I was gonna say we're running around kind of slow, but we need to have the sprint shoe relic to unlock hyper speed with the chaos flags today.
It would certainly be helpful. So, I should mention that the way that the map is randomized, it is supposedly guaranteed that no matter where you are, you can get out again, and that everything is accessible inside of the map. You might have to, so even if you end up on the wrong side of the turtle, like Jex did there, you should always be able to get out. Now, that being said, it doesn't always work perfectly, and in fact, it looks to me like Jex is trapped here, so he's going to have to warp out. The logic for the mapping is a little tricky when you've got switches and whatnot, and for that reason, Chaos Crawler always has warp enabled, so if you get stuck, you can warp out, go back to the airship, find another entrance. One of these days, I will work all the bugs out of the mapping.
Yeah, we see Nobody War in Dream taking advantage of that Magitech armor we get in here to do some more.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Loot grinding.
Two Atma weapons off those Ralphs. That'll come in handy later in the game.
I mean, that Ralph looks perfectly fine. I don't know what Chad is talking about. It's just got kind of a robot face.
Don't they always look like that?
Yeah. I think you must be talking about the top Ralph. That one is the one that looks weird.
Yeah, it's all jowly.
Taking the opportunity to learn Flare and boost some magic power for those that can.
Yeah, that magic power +2 early is very handy. Oh, Jex also finding the Vargas fight. And this Narappa, like everything else, weak to fixed dice.
Yeah, few problems in the game cannot be solved by throwing enough dice at them. Those are good ones too.
We've got a question from the Schwantz in the chat asking, what's the best approach? Is it to fly around towns or just dive into the dungeon? So I tend to think that the best approach when I'm playing this is I find an entrance and I go as far into that entrance as I can, see what's down there. And then if it doesn't pan out, if it's a dead end, if I can't go any further, fly over to the next one. But you could imagine doing a more of a breadth before depth search if you wanted to. You never know what you're going to find or where. Sometimes you'll walk into an entrance on the map and it'll just take you directly to a check, and that's the only way to get to it. So sooner or later, you're gonna have to do that. I would say that the biggest difference for me between Chaos Crawler and playing an Ultros League seed is you have to be a lot more conscientious about when your last save was. Especially when you've got, bosses and random encounters, especially when you don't know how long it's going to be until you find the next save point. You can take on I am generally very careful about saving early and saving often when I'm playing this.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I imagine like managing resources as well, like MP, maybe carrying around more consumables versus the non-dungeon crawl settings, because some of those entrances we might need to go deep in them, and if there's not a lot of if there's not saves along the way, how are we gonna keep fueling our offense if we're relying on magic?
Looks like Nobody War took on the World of Ruin Tritalk spot, got an Esper for his trouble.
Ooh.
And it is Golem.
Number 2.
Golem with Merton and X Zone. That's going to be real handy. Yeah, the vanilla game. The vanilla game is usually quite good about giving you a save point, like right before a boss, for example, and you cannot count on that here.
Nobody War has found their way into Magitech Factory.
Yeah, this is a nice room. It has a lot of entrances and a lot of exits, including the the conveyor belt down into Ifrit and Shiva's pit, including there's a hidden trapdoor exit, which is through a pipe behind the wall. There's a fair number of hidden treasure chests here, too. We'll see if Nobody War knows where they all are. There's one.
Yeah, I imagine we do a little bit more of like the walking grind style with this from time to time, where we just have to take the Moogle chart off sometimes. We can't go like seek out I guess the world map could have spots that we like revisit for a good fight.
Yeah, it could. I think that's why Nobody War was checking out a bunch of different zones on the world map, was in case any of them were particularly useful. And Nobody War finds a dead end. Takes a warp out. So am I remembering right that this is the scaling on this is 3 times level scaling characters, espers, and dragons? Is that right?
Yeah, we have 3 times for level. The hit point scaling is party average.
Okay.
So they'll be lower HP relative to their like punching power.
What would you look at that?
Yeah, max scaling is 73, but like we shouldn't get too close to that with our unlock requirements.
Oh, free experience egg for Nobody War.
Oh, a little auction win for Jex over there.
Is that Jex's first Esper? No, it's his second. And it's a Match Power +1 Ice 3, which Realm can wear.
Ooh,
I think
very
Realm's
nice.
going to be wearing that for a long time here. Yeah, I don't think Jex got that that economizer that Nobody War picked up in one of his first fights. But you never know, might find it somewhere. Investing in some very pricey earrings here.
Gotta look good and do magic well.
And there, Nobody War picked up the sprint shoes.
Ooh.
Showing off a little bit of B-dash.
Speed. I think especially where we're gonna be treading a lot of ground. Picking those up makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of walking in Chaos Crawler. Yeah, so Catastrophe. This is Chaos Flags and Chaos Maps. Do the players track their maps at all? I don't know. When I'm doing entrance randomizer, like just the entrances on the world map shuffled, yeah, I'll write down where each one leads to. But in full dungeon crawl, I don't know if it's even worth it. Like, you just do what's in front of you and hope that you don't have to remember where it was. That's my experience with this mode.
Yeah, I suppose since everything branches off of the world map, right? And so
Mhm.
in theory you could kind of track like where the paths go from there, but like I've seen some I have the same question when I played the like Earthbound Ancient Cave is just like some people do like that sort of just they just have like a piece of scratch paper and just kind of like map it out in a way that makes sense to them in like shorthands in terms of I think I would try to write down where not to go again. Like, oh, I think I've cleared out the Narsh entrance, or if there was like a shop of note that I wanted to come back to, I might take a note of like how to get back to it more than like trying to track where exactly I am in the overall maze.
So we've got
A
a little bit of
dragon.
news here. Nobody War found Ancient Castle for no particularly good reason. Ancient Castle. Oh no!
And
Wow.
and Blue Dragon found their power.
Blue Dragon accessed their inner chi. So, I was just about to say, for no particularly good reason, Ancient Castle is one of the few regions that is not randomized. So Nobody War got a save point, vanilla save point. Nobody War is able to run right back and pick up Setzer, who was the reward down here. I don't know if Nobody War is going to try this dragon again.
Dragons are unscaled. I think that's what they just learned, and they're gonna learn again.
Yeah.
Because I just peeked the flag, so I was like, that was a lot of damage. And it's because they're vanilla level.
Well, maybe this time it'll be okay. Oh, nope.
And they do, you know, only one of them is needed for we need 2 of our 3 conditions. So I might like this might be again like make a note of I think that time they were trying to get by it, and that dragon is tricky.
Yeah, I think they just walked poorly that time. I bet you third time's the charm here. They're just gonna pick up Setzer and get out. Meanwhile, I don't know if you noticed, but Jex pulled the switch that said engage the Imperial Air Force on the airship.
So I did see. I was going to ask about this.
Yeah. So in Vanilla Worlds Collide, of course, this takes you to the floating continent. Since this is Chaos Crawler, you don't know where it takes you. It's another entrance to the dungeon, but along the way, you get to fight these 4 fixed encounters, as well as the first boss, the Ultros Chupan boss, which we'll see what it gets replaced with, and then we'll see where it drops him off.
Oh, because they had a boss fight, but it was just that behemoth fight was just an encounter.
That's right. That was just a fixed encounter.
Not too bad.
And so is this number 128, or is this the actual boss?
I think I saw Chupan. Was he fully in front, though? I don't know.
Looks like Nobody War is backtracking. Maybe Nobody War is trying to remember how to get to this dragon, so that he can find it again if he needs to. Looks like it comes out of one of the Zozos.
He switched Zozo worlds.
Yeah, and found the exit. Meanwhile, Jexrock defeated his boss and found himself on the world map.
Are the Chocobo Forest locations entrances?
They are not.
Okay.
That seemed like it would add a lot of chaos without adding a lot of fun. And there was already a lot of chaos. Also, there's a code reason for it if you actually care, but the code reason being that all of the Chocobo stables are actually the same Chocobo stable.
Oh, that makes sense.
The game just remembers where you entered the map from. Hey, look!
Whoa.
It's Runic Sword Tech Gao. Would you take a Sword Tech Gao here? I usually think of
we
Sword
have a
Tech
magic
being
power
pretty-
boosting Esper or two. Like, we could just turn him into a stunner mage if we wanted to.
Yeah. Stunner's
I
strong.
don't think we have the sword tech unlock objective.
Right.
Nor a reliable way to even do it, so I don't know. Yeah,
But he does
maybe.
He does have the experience egg, and with level X3, he's probably gonna max out the levels on the enemies anyway. At what is it, level 70? 70? Is that right?
Yeah, 73, I think is the cap.
73. Yeah, so he'll hit that with getting 20. Can I math? Can I math today? 22. No, 24. 24 combination character and Espers. Never mind. He won't get there.
Yeah, because we just need 6 plus 7 plus. Well, that could be it.
Yeah. Dragonhorn's a pretty nice find.
Yeah, especially with those dice. If we find some boots, we can do some dice jumping. Always a good time.
Umaru's Cave, one of the places that you very often find yourself in Chaos Crawler. Not necessarily this room, but the next room underneath that these pits usually lead to. You get there more often than you would like to.
Was in the dream and then woke up somewhere else. Oh, I feel like we saw Jax find this earlier.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
that ice shield, yeah.
Jax opting to warp out after beating that boss, probably because he's poisoned and needs to get healed. Probably a heads-up play by Jax there. Not knowing where your next save point is, you don't want to be wandering around with poison on. Madalast says he has boots from a chest in Ancient Castle, but not the fixed dice. So between the two of them, our players' powers combined, they have a Dragon Dicer. But
yeah, if they could trade. Because those dice were a drop and not a store find.
That's right.
But the economizer that nobody wore has. Ooh, viable pearl rods.
That's pretty nice. Especially if
The
you can
ammo weapons are nice too, because I think we're gonna have some pretty high levels going into Kefka, so it's pretty viable. Let's get a couple for sure.
Looks like Jex
nice
has moved over to World of Ruins, see where these entrances go. The worlds are totally mixed together, but he finds one of the South Figaros. That's a nice find. Pick up a bunch of chests, pick up a bunch of new item shops. Somebody left their snow muffler out to dry.
The backside of Imperial. We've seen 2 out of the 3 Imperial base entrances. Where's nobody going?
I guess he hasn't fully explored. Oh, maybe he knows. Oh no, he's checking out this other pit. He went to the first pit here, but there is a second one.
Oh yeah, shops are original vanilla inventory. So South Figaro, World of Ruin.
Now, if I were him, you noticed he walked right past that save point in Cyan's dream. It might have been worth his while to save at that save point, because all three of those doors on that platform are one-way entrances. And if he
Hmm.
wants to check where the other two go, he's going to have to figure out how to get back there.
That's
Ah,
nice.
Jack's picking up a free Esper in South Figaro basement. We should mention, I guess we haven't mentioned yet, we should mention that because of the inherently chaotic nature of Dungeon Crawler, the logic for checks is open world. There's no character gating in Dungeon Crawler. It is theoretically possible, but only if you can guarantee you can make traversable maps. And as we've seen a couple of times, I have not yet been able to guarantee that all of the maps work 100% of the time. You gotta warp out.
Where's
It's pretty.
we're taking a ferry ride back
Are we?
to Imperial Camp.
Oh, wow. One of the exits of Zozo just leads you right to the Burning House boss. That's handy. Found ourselves a Dullahan. Locke, still with no MP. Sabin, our healer, also one of our damage dealers. So, playing it a little risky here, but... no guts, no glory.
Yeah, having the flare is nice. It is, reliably being able to damage pretty much anything. It is kind of slow. But in a Chaos Crawler, I feel like more so than ever, we kind of got to use what we got, right? Like,
that's right.
I don't think we can be as picky in terms of like, well, it's not the fastest offense.
You want to use it or lose the last 10 minutes of progress. Jex took an actual ferry ride there. Nice perk here. If you find South Figaro, you can take the ferry over to Nikea and vice versa.
Oh, so they're like connected, even though like on the world map, if you try to go.
Yeah, even though they're not where even though the ferry map, the ferry cutscene lies to you, they are not actually where they say they are. You can still take the ferry between them. So if you find one, you can find your way over to the other.
Are there any other boat trips? That's the only one, right?
There is. You can take the ferry in World of Balance from Nikea to South Figaro. But I think you can only go that direction. I'm not sure you can go back. So I gotta give a shout out to Jex here. Jex has been my #1 debugger for Dungeon Crawl and for Door Randomizer in general. And he has been able to find lots of interesting and exciting ways to break this particular mode. During one of them, he managed to trigger the cutscene with General Leo on the boat going to Triangle Island. I was impressed. He managed to do that. It's still in the game somewhere, but you're not supposed to be able to get there. So yeah, huge thanks to Jex for making this all possible.
Yeah, nobody got through that boss, but unfortunately only an Aura Lance as a reward. Jack's gonna peek this dragon, which we have learned.
Uh-oh.
Is gonna be nasty. If we had Mew...
And also, as you know, the white dragon starts with 1 to 3 pearl attacks. So if he only does the 1, you might be able to resurrect Sabin and maybe make something happen here. But on the other hand, this dragon has what, 20,000 HP?
Yeah,
30,000.
Be a bit.
It's a lot of HP.
Carbuncle will stop us from dying.
That's true. Pearl Dragon only... Does Pearl Dragon have physical attacks? It is in the tower, so you would think that its fight command would have been replaced, just like yours.
Ah, we found World of Balance, the massa, and found, therefore, more breakable rods.
Very nice. We found the walking guys in Zozo. Jex is going to try and make this happen. He believes in his dreams, and his dreams involve slaying this dragon.
The backside of Duncan's house. Yeah, I mean, with the morph, if we've been juicing Realm's magic power, I didn't see the damage. Ooh. The problem is, it's going to be healing itself. If we had like a mute, if we had a way to shut down the spell casting entirely, I feel like we could stick this out, but...
Yeah, also with the dispels here, that reflect is going to go away in a couple of turns.
Ooh, I should see what's multi-summon on. Maybe that's not a problem. Espers. Oh, we got Ultros, our second Ultros appearance. Nobody war side. Yeah.
And Garage should make this go pretty quick.
So the multi-summon flag is on, so we can just keep spamming Carbuncle to keep reflect up 1800 damage.
Which where did he find this dragon? Did he find this dragon by the save point in
Yes.
Mount Zozo? Is that right?
Indeed.
Yeah, I don't know about this choice. I think Jex is just going to waste a lot of time here. Meanwhile, nobody
don't
war.
quite have. Ooh, well maybe this might be a better. It's a slog. This.
Yeah. Meanwhile, nobody war finds himself a Yeti.
Ooh, that's gonna be one of their two unlock
That's true.
requirements with character 6. Although the levels on both sides very low.
That's true. You don't really want to go into AT at this. Hey, look at that. Jex Rock's proven me wrong. Those
The
fixed
belief.
dice got him there.
I gotta mark that. Boom. That's one of their two.
And that's a huge, with that and that Paladin shield is a huge win for Jexrock here. All he has to do is find himself 3 more characters, and he'll have unlocked the tower. Looks like he's also ahead in levels somehow. Even though nobody
Well, that dragon would do it.
more grind fights. Yeah, well, that would be how. Knuckly Kong with the Yeti appreciation in the chat. Are you Fitz? Are you team Yeti or are you team Yeti flies the airship?
So I've staked out a controversial third position, which is the Yeti is perfectly fine. They have great value and utility. They maybe kind of fall off in the very final fight, but a lot of times I enjoy a early Yeti to just have consistent damage output, be able to go dig around in the Coliseum. So I'm trying to kind of establish like a third party of
A third way.
the Yeti is fine. And why
Yeah.
does it have to be
Yeah,
so extreme, you know? Like
That sounds
I think
altogether.
Go-Go's another one that has a similar sort of polarization where it's like Go-Go's fine. Like solid B, you know?
Go-Go has a real role even in some final parties. He is a great utility caster. They are a great utility caster. If you need someone who can cast heals and cast life and cast mute and cast instant death, Gogo's your person.
Yeah, they do
And
have more utility in that final fight. I was just thinking, it was like, whoa, nobody war is probably looking for espers, but like, how does one even? Because there's a couple of towns that would have espers, right? Like we saw Jex Rock pick up one.
Yep, you could buy an Esper if you find Tzen. Check out the Tzen Thief. Jex picked one up in Jador. I wonder if we're gonna see a auction house play here. It looks like we are.
We are, yeah. Nobody war just fine. Speak of the auction house, and it shall appear.
So, how many imp robots do you think we're gonna see?
What I would like to see is if you get the imp robot, it should be a one-way entrance somewhere else, and you're just gone. You have no idea where and you can't go back. You have to find your way back.
Idea. I'm sure that everybody, all of my friends in the feedback for Door Randomizer will be perfectly on board with that plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, question from Schwanson Chat is Search the Sky is randomized.
That is correct. Search the Skies is randomized. Oh, wait.
Like, is it an entrance?
World of Ruin, Search the Skies. Nope. World of Ruin, Search the Skies, looking for Doomgaze. That is not randomized. So if you are looking for an Esper, that is a good check. Oh my gosh.
We found Terra. It's character 7, unfortunately.
Such a bifurcation between our two runners here. They have not found any of the same stuff.
Yeah, I imagine... Wow. This is a thick fight. I might take a bunch of these if I'm...
Yeah.
Which they're at 7... Did I mark that right? Yeah. 7-2. No dragons. So 9 times 3. They're way underscaled.
Realm just popped a Merton here. Do we have defects for that?
Yeah. No, kind of. Sort of. Well, we have a jumper. We can always... If we can move that protection off the lock and jump around Merton, but...
Yep.
These are high experience enemies, but they're also high power enemies.
Yep. Oof.
Oh no. Oh wait, we have fire protection.
Oh, yeah. So, things that aren't randomized. Search the Skies, Kefka's Tower, the interior of Ancient Castle. So once you find Ancient Castle, it's going to be the same as it always is. Also, Phoenix Cave, the interior of Phoenix Cave, and the interior of Floating Continent are, once you find the way into them, they are as they are. However, the way that you get into Phoenix Cave and the way that you get into Floating Continent are themselves both randomized. So you'll find them by walking into a door somewhere.
I guess the belt is always available.
That's true. Velt is always available. This was another feature. Somebody asked if I could randomize where the Velt check was, and I said no to that. That sounded just like a whole lot of pain to me. Why is Ancient Castle not randomized? Ancient Castle is not randomized only because it is literally the last thing that I added to the randomizer, and I did not think to add all of the individual rooms to randomization. That is the only reason.
Is like the South Figaro... No, that's part of a town. Never mind.
Yeah, that's part of a town. The interior of towns, although Jex requested this, the interior of towns is not currently randomized. It's probably doable, but the the mode is. We would have to come up with a yet more chaotic name than Chaos Crawler to describe that.
Ooh, a very nasty fight in the skies here. Some tough dinos. I guess this is always open too.
It is.
Yeah, we're starting to see hitting up those Esper checks for. Oh, I haven't marked Jex's dragon. Jex has got a dragon under their belt, so they're 2 Espers away from unlocking Kefka's tower. Are we ready for that with 3 characters?
Jex is gonna want to dive KT with 3 characters. Now, Jex, on the one hand, this is Jex we're talking about. But on the other hand, that sounds like it might be pretty painful. Level 24.
But on the third hand, we don't have a reliable way to find more characters.
That is true.
Like, do we just deal the hand we've been dealt, or do we wander around looking for at least 1 more? Maybe 2.
If I was Jex, I would try and get another character. Oh, it looks like Jex got unlock. I think you are 1 Esper behind on Jex.
Yeah, I'm
here.
checking I'm peeking on their stream. Yeah, I think they're good to go.
Wow. So 48 minutes
like,
in, Jex is unlocked and level 24 with 3 characters staring down the barrel of Kefka's tower.
They got
Looks
plenty
like
of dice.
Deciding
So
go hunting for some more stuff.
Unfortunately, the vanilla shops are not going to give us a whole lot more than.
Yeah, what do they even sell in Miranda?
In vanilla, I have no idea. And I think that was World of Balance too, so it was like epes and like
red jacket, paladin shield, ice shield. So
7
Jack
is the unkillable gambler.
Yeah. Plus Merton. He can do Merton.
Whoa.
Picking up the dog cutscene here.
Very
See you
nice.
later, Interceptor. Nobody worse.
Offering in a chest. I think if Jack had a couple of those offerings, they might dive the tower with 3 characters, or even 1. I'm perfectly honest. Like with like their kind of armor situation, they'd still have trouble with Kefka, though.
Enemy levels are 33, so I would at least want to like grind up a bit. And he can't do the grind in KT without splitting his party up. So
fair.
Yeah,
the enemy levels are high. Their hit point scaling is only the party average times 1, so they're a little bit glass cannon-y.
Yeah. So they have 24 levels of hit points and 33 levels of levels. If that statement makes sense to anybody.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Nobody War has found a repeatable Kefka fight that they're really getting some practice in. It's good to practice your Kefka fight before you take on the full thing.
Yeah, get your reps in on Junior Kefka. That Dragonhorn jumper is starting to hit a little harder. 1,000 per drop.
Yeah, I guess bosses are pretty, like, especially Kefka's like a mid-game boss. They usually offer pretty solid rewards and aren't like the most dangerous.
Jack's now taking the other ferry. He's a ferryman.
Looking for Tessie, but they're not here. They are in a different game. Ooh, an imp halberd. If we can imp our jumper, we're in business. Although an aura lance is pretty close to that.
Does he have an aura lance right now? Oh, he did.
Yeah, I know they snagged one off of a check reward.
Mm-hmm. So Fitz, now that we're 50 minutes in, this particular run is we're going to be submitting for a tournament. Is that right? Or
Yeah, we've done quite a bit of the Final Fantasy One randomizer. They put on a marathon every summer and winter.
Mm-hmm.
They're always a good time. This year, we'll have some in-person runs in addition to the online stuff, which will be exciting, and I think showcasing kind of a different variety. There is a lot to enjoy in Worlds Collide, and I think the racing scene, so to speak, with the less chaotic sort of flags and settings, it gets a lot of love, but I think there are definitely which obviously this is a race, like they're racing against each other, but there's definitely an appetite for that more random experience that kind of starts to especially with the dungeon crawler here, like kind of redefine, like it really feels like a fully different mode where I'm like, well, what is the approach, like it's like a greenfield space where it doesn't feel as like solved or even solvable necessarily.
Yeah, it tests your mettle. It tests your ability to play the game with what the game gives you. You can't rely on your strategies working the same way they did last time. And as much as I love and enjoy Ultros League and some of the other standard race flags that we have, probably my favorite thing about Worlds Collide as a randomizer is just the sheer gargantuan number of different ways that you can set the flags to scramble up this game and give yourself something new. This Chaos Crawler mode is a really excellent showcase of that. Looks like Jexrock has found Shadow in the engine room in Figaro Castle.
Well, that's nice.
It's very nice.
Ugh.
Another character.
Ammo. Me and Ammo Weapon, we have history. We have beef. They have often stoned my party into, wiping us. They're right at that nice scaling level where they can do a lot of dumb stuff. And hopefully we don't see any of it. I'm rooting for Jex here. But Ammo Weapon is one that I tend to underestimate, and then I tend to pay the price when they do something in the non-elemental category. Oh, we found a Genji glove. Like a shrapnel. It was only one target, though.
Shrapnel into quarter. That is better than the other way around.
Correct.
And one more dice throw gets the job done. Yeah, so Plastic Cat in chat. What we are playing here is a mode of Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide that we affectionately call Chaos Crawler. This has chaos flags, and it uses the dungeon crawl map randomizer mode. So all of the doors, or most of the doors in the game, their destinations are randomized. So when you walk into what looks like South Figure on the map, you can end up basically anywhere in the game. And in this mode, you got to just crawl through that dungeon until you find the things that you need to take on Final Kefka.
Indeed, which on Jexarok's fight was 7 espers and 1 dragon. They did find a 4th character, so maybe that's enough
Yeah,
to go
maybe.
try the tower. Nobody War is still looking for espers. They do know where an ancient castle dragon is.
Yeah, do you
So
like that? I told you
potentially
about that earlier today. The that second train car has that trapdoor on top of it. So checking out where that trapdoor goes, looks like it goes into Owzer's basement, where he's got yet another Inferno fight.
Inferno again. This time a little bit more powerful on both sides.
Inferno 2, the Infernoning.
They've been training. They're rougher and are striking harder.
More strikey, yeah.
Strikest, roughest, infernist. Yeah, I imagine after all the crawling, once we finally get to like it's time to go to Kefka's tower, then like it's kind of like returning to like the more normal territory of like, okay, well now I just gotta like run through and fight the bosses and do the switches. Like maybe it feels like a little bit more of a treat where it's like, ah, we had to go through a lot to get here.
It's like, man, I just woke up from the craziest dream. So,
What would
is
say is
Jack
your like favorite like underappreciated entrance in the game?
my favorite underappreciated entrance? Well, I'm really happy with randomizing the Imperial Air Force. I like hitting that switch, going and fighting a boss and ending up in like Tzen or something. Uh,
That is a
I
funny
find that really,
entrance. It's
really
like,
amusing.
yeah, walk through,
Phoenix
fight a
Cave
bunch
is
of
also
stuff, and
nice.
then find out what's on the other side.
Yeah. Phoenix Cave is fun. I had to go into the code and do a little bit of custom eventing there, so that when you land on the platform for Phoenix Cave, it asks you if you want to split the party there instead of splitting it on the airship. Um, yeah, making that work, making Floating Continent work, were both a lot of fun. Looks like Jex has decided that 4 characters is enough. I wonder how he's gonna play this.
Yeah, I was curious, like the obviously like the time one of these type of seeds might go is certainly dependent on what like the requirements are. Our initial roll was like
Yeah.
3 dragons, 10 characters, and like 11 espers or something. Like that's a lot longer and involves us having to go, I imagine, a lot deeper.
Yeah, something like that. Something that somebody such as One Free Fits may have hypothetically rolled just prior to rolling this seed.
Should post that in like the seed sharing channel. Like this is the one that got away.
Maybe the bosses are nice. It looks
Reserve three and a
like,
half hours.
yeah. It looks to me like Jex has decided to go to send 2 party members up the right side, see if you can take maybe hypothetically take all of those bosses. And then maybe he's gonna do a triple dive into KT here.
Ah, the old triple dip.
Yeah. Oh, getting a flame shield for his trouble. That's real nice, especially since he's got Merton. With a flame
Indeed.
shield, Merton is also the best heal in the game.
Nice. Oh, one other instance of that. Um, we were talking about all the flags, which you can almost imagine as like if there's this like machine with all these dials on it that you get to set before it, it does the magic and stamps out the seed. Or in my case, spits a bunch of smoke at me, and then like there's like a flaming seed comes out instead. But one of them involves like the Y button can have different effects on NPCs, and I did see this one was stone, so it just like turns them to stone.
Yeah. I
There's
think
another one that's like Y remove, and it just makes them disappear, and that lets us like break logic. Well, in this case, probably not, but at least get through towns a little bit more
yeah,
efficiently.
it's mostly just helpful to have Y remove in Dungeon Crawler. It doesn't necessarily break any logic because everything's open anyway, but still, it can be handy when you're blocked by slow-moving old man in Albrook, for example. Dropping a
We don't
save.
often get to see like the cosmetic one, so I appreciate that the
Yeah,
chaos rolled. Some
Piranha shouldn't be
fishes.
too much trouble.
Piranhas
Piranha
can be
punching.
punchy at the later scaling, but with the gear going on, I don't think
Yeah,
we're
I don't know
super
if you
worried
noticed,
about
but
that.
that piranha, that fish punched Sabin for zero
Oh, he's
damage.
got the muffler and paladin shield. I forgot
Yeah,
Sabin
exactly.
is nearly unhurtable. It looks like nobody wore picked up their 5th Esper. Just like the
Spicy
path to
hot
some of
cap
these, because
and
like they
flare
took a
here.
boat, then they went in a train, and then they ended up in the garbage area of Magitech, which led
I think an
to
opera house
the
down there.
Opera House.
Are we gonna take a dragon here? Is this World of Ruin Opera House? No, World of Balance Opera
Ooh.
House.
Now, is everything in the Opera House? Okay, that answered my
The
question. I
Opera
was like,
House
that.
is also. I could not, for the life of me. I thought about it for a little bit. I could not figure out how I could possibly break these rooms apart and have anything make any sense in this check. So no, this plays out as you expect. You get a few fixed encounters with a giant praying mantis,
Now, what
and
about an entrance leading to the opera cutscene? Have we thought about that?
well, you can do the opera cutscene from the World of Balance Opera House here. But you're suggesting that we should
Like a
it
trap,
just
like if there's
always
basically a trap door that drops you into doing the opera, is what I'm picturing.
it's a fun idea. But you already have to be crazy enough to play this mode that adding on uh, minor irritations, no matter how hilarious, is not necessarily good game design.
I know we
So,
had to incentivize it somehow. We're like,
yeah,
but you get an Illumina.
yes, you level up in singing.
Yeah, there's
Is
some
this
number 24s running loose here in the
oh,
rafters.
all right?
Just
Uh,
seeing a second dragon here.
yeah. Well, he's got that paladin shield, so he's entirely safe. I guess he's just wants the levels and also whatever the top tier item is.
Yeah, I think
Also,
the item pool on this one was pretty generous overall. And we saw a paladin. It was mainly there was a paladin shield. It's a pretty broad pool, but that's the big ticket item in there.
yeah, I would expect Goldie to go down without a whole lot of trouble here. Uh, Although with fixed dice, you never know how many rolls it's going to take.
Yeah, plus the unscaled dragon. Gold is one of the thicker ones, if I'm remembering, in terms of hit points.
Being a Kefka's Tower Dragon.
Yeah. Maybe if we're looking to like switch over to like an Atma, this would be a And we have an egg. This would be a huge pile of experience. Oh no, they're soaring energy again.
Yeah,
What are
if
we gonna
these
do?
numbers were white numbers, then I think Jex would be having a little bit of trouble here. But as it is, it's just chip away till it's gone. $1,200 hit points at a time.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we had Berserk, and the way I remember this is that it makes Gold Dragon angry when you tell them they're a dinosaur, and not a dragon. Then they wouldn't be able to cast all their spells. And that would actually be worse, probably, unless
It
we got
probably
the
would.
oh no.
Up.
Oh no.
Nobody War has a confused Dragoon Lock jumping up into the air.
Where are they gonna go?
Yeah. If there's one thing we know about Jex, it's that he has a lot of patience.
Oh no.
He has played a lot of very long.
Ooh. Wait a minute. Okay. Saban briefly confused, but fortunately, Locke cleared that up.
Yeah. Good job, Locke.
Oh no, Locke is dancing. Oh no. Well, memento ring.
Hey. Perfectly
we're in
timed
wall
wall
change.
there. 1 out of 8 chance. Nope.
This is a classic number 128 fight where it feels like they're being controlled by a second human. It seemed to be selecting the perfect actions to
Yeah. Well, what
really
you didn't
ruin our
know is
time.
that Pero, who has been developing some chat control mechanisms for Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, he is secretly up in Nobody War's system, giving number 128 commands.
It would seem so. But I think that was their last. They might be done with rats.
I think so, yeah.
Run low on the
Real
MP
Prince,
there.
yeah,
But we got
fortunately has an
some
X
things.
ether. Also taking a dragon on this side. Jex wants those
More
dragons.
dragons.
Did you
I
see
can
what
definitely
up
get
that
it
gold dragon?
for the levels, but it does raise our scaling for those statue fights.
That's true.
And Dirt Dragon is gonna well, Saban again is invincible, but those counter punches, the
Well,
honed tusks.
Saban also just dropped a cool 9999
This
with
is our
that.
Merton team.
Saban's
We'll
out
probably be
alone
fine.
here. We are seeing
Ooh.
the product of Saban wearing that Magic Power +2 Esperal Seed.
You know, they say that the brain is the biggest muscle, and Saban has really been hitting the books, working on that magical ability. Got a goddess fight, not what we would love to see. We're jumping. We got an offering Atma, so we can.
Yeah, we're gonna chip away at this goddess here. Still don't have that lightsaber at its full length. Did Jex just reset?
I feel like they maybe were looking at like the skip and thought it was closer
Oh, that could be.
because it was 6 dragons, or it was like 2 or 3 too. So yeah, there wasn't a good one.
Well, we just got ourselves some extra content, some auto mute after 3 dragons. Knuckly Kong telling us we had an objective. There was in fact a 3 dragon objective, but it was auto mute.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of bad.
Yeah, Jex deciding muting his party where their biggest offense is Merton. Probably not the best play here.
Yeah, with the dice and the magic power boosting, they do kind of have they've assembled a party that doesn't need necessarily the big levels to do damage.
Mm-hmm.
Levels mean more hit points mean can take a punch.
Yeah. With Merton also healing at least 2 of your 3 party members, you're unless you get like crit by long arm or short arm, unless you get crit by short arm, probably you're gonna stay up and the Merton will heal you.
That's true. And then we've seen multi-summon is on, and I don't know if they have. I'm not sure if they have the same espers, but we've seen a couple that we could use to mitigate that. I've seen maybe a Mirage Vest floating out there as well.
Yeah, I think Golem was one of Jex's espers, which is quite handy, especially with multicast. With Welk, we're just going to dice our way through, I guess.
Can we outdice the Gru? Yes, we can.
You can. Look at that. And we have a Cyan. Yet another character. Is Nobody War going to pick up this lonely wandering Cyan? Doesn't look like it. Passing it up for an Esper here in the Narsh battle area.
Yeah, definitely kind of makes sense. Turning down. I mean, that would increase our scaling for really no reward. We need at least 9. I guess that would put him at 8. They'd be 1 away from one of the skip conditions, but it doesn't. That feels pretty far off, and I think makes sense. Oh no. This crane game, not going great. Someone is petrified. Crane's gonna petrify you.
What have we got for ability scaling? Is that a...
That's why I was gonna go look, because I was like, what's happening there? Random. That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't really noticed that too much. Oh no.
Nobody War executing a perfect soldier skip and getting a math check. Setzer fails.
Passed.
Setzer needs to go back to school. I guess we learned today Setzer is not somebody who counts cards.
No, he just tumbles the dice that are rigged. The rigged dice. You don't need to count when you fix the odds in your favor. Yeah, the random element scaling unfortunately means the entire time our runners have not been able to reliably predict what sort of offense a boss is going to use against them. And that means Doom Gaze is, instead of, what is their elements? Air and...
Ice.
Ice. Could be anything.
Could be. Could be landslide. So we got one of the cranes went down, Realm got back up and took the other one down with a nice beefy fixed dice roll. And that's the first statue down for Jexrock. So how are we going to proceed here?
Great recovery after a spicy fight.
Oh, for sure. Level 28. I mean, that is still really low for endgame levels. With the equipment, I think he's going to go for it, though. You can make it happen. Oh, this is surprising. Putting the Pally shield on, gonna see if Shadow can dice his way through whatever this is.
I like it. It could be something, especially with the party average hit, Ghost Train only gonna have 30 levels of hit points.
Yep. As long as we miss the getting confused or imped or something, this should go okay. Oh.
Those wheels. Oof. No, those are high level wheels, right? And we're talking.
Yeah. Those are some giant rims.
close to 50 levels of wheels.
Yep, got the spinners on them.
We need that muffler maybe too, if they could wear that to help with that. Although alternatively, we might have an Esper that we could just summon, and
That
I
would
don't
be
know
nice.
if we saw an Odin or a Raiden, but I like the peak. Now they know. Then go try this other side. See if we have a little bit better luck.
Yeah, that
While
safe
thinking
point gives
about-
them a lot of safety here. Oh, and this should go. This shouldn't be a problem. Not with Paladin Shield, not with, does Locke have a red jacket on?
I think so.
It's okay. The Pally Shield's really what counts here.
Seeing Rexol bust out a Cyclonic. Pretty gross.
But Rexol goes down. So, Nobody War is still looking for Espers here, is that right?
Indeed. And they're not finding them. As they get a snow muffler for their troubles.
Still, comparing our two runners, although Jexrock is all the way at KT and trying to figure out how to puzzle his way through this Phantom Train, and Nobody War is still out looking for stuff, they are at about the same level here. In fact, this Shadow is at a lower level than what Nobody War is rocking over on his side of the screen, so...
Indeed. Ooh. Gonna learn X Zone. I like the call.
Very good call.
Ooh.
It's like Nobody War trying to maybe... This is where he took his first grind fights. I wonder if he's trying to pick up some more economizers, which he found in that very first battle. So Shadow blocks the Evil Toot. That's a good start to this fight. I saw him put on a Genji armor. That should help a little bit.
Huge rolls.
Train goes down. That is a huge piece of progress for Jax. That was the last boss he had to fight, and with his weakest character by far. So he does not have to back out of KT. He can just walk straight up to the switches and start the final Kefka fight.
Indeed. We're going to see a lot of Murden. Until we don't. And then a lot of dice.
Now, here's a question for you. Does he have the MP recovery to do a full-on Merton strat for the entire final boss?
I glanced at like 3 elixirs. I don't know if I saw any of like X ethers, stuff like that. We know there was some MP restoratives that were like buyable, like in your tinctures, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I saw...
I think only Jax knows. I haven't seen enough of their inventory to say 100%. I don't think they have the economizers.
I don't believe they do.
Merton is vanilla MP.
Let's see, 2 elixirs. I did not see Osmos, which would be one way through this. I did see somebody pick up a Soul Saber. I don't remember if it was Jex, though.
Oh, that would be a deep...
hey, there it is.
bag
Soul
of
Saber.
bricks.
He's got it. He's got that Soul Saber. There it is. He saw the Soul Saber, so he's got an idea.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Oh no, not everyone can wield it.
Realm, but still, 3 of your 4
Sabin
characters.
Oh wait, I'm thinking about which Sabin has hit the books, or maybe both of them have by this point.
Yeah, no, that's Jex's Sabin. Jex's
Okay, so
Sabin
we have
hit the books,
2
so-
elixirs. I saw 2 tinctures and an ether.
Yeah.
So that's 250 MP plus 2 refills. Vanilla Merton is, I think, like 100 and some, like 110 or something like that.
Oh, he's resetting. He forgot he wants to do some reconfiguration here. But I don't know. I think with that Soul Saber, so Sabin can recover his MP as much as he wants. I think that's going to be enough to get him through here. Oh, he forgot to do Espers. That's what it is.
Ooh, yeah, that Fenrir not having it on would have been devastating. And probably if the wrong character goes down a do-over. No, I think you're right. I think they have the firepower. Nobody War has found Collapsing House, and I think they already bought an Esperance in.
No, he went and peaked it, and it was 40k. I don't think he had the money, but he will have the money when he goes and sells some stuff. So he could get 2 Espers here, and that could put him back on track. Especially if Jex, with his low levels, runs into trouble with this boss.
Oh, this is the Super Bowl store too. Is here.
Oh, is it? So he could come out of this with all the balls money can buy.
I had a seed once where I really considered, and I asked myself, how many Super Bowls would I need to get through Final Kefka? It was one of those. It was one of those Madwin ones where it was just impossible to get levels, and so I really thought about. I had just so much money and buyable Super Balls that I was like 20, 30. Like if I had 30 and got lucky, could I get through on like 4 or 5 tries?
Well, like the average Super Bowl roll is what? Like, if you look at the statistics, the average one is something like 3,000, I think, maybe 2,000. So there's, well, we can think about this as we talk through Final Kefka. So long arm, short arm have 30k, head has 40k. Head is of course weak to fire, so Merton will help a lot here. Long arm is weak to X zone or instant death, which I think he already hit it with. Yeah. So between all of them, all told, you've got like 100,000k on tier 1. So if you're doing 3k on average with a Super Ball, oh no, you're doing more than that, aren't you? Well, if you're doing 3k on average with a Super Ball, then that's something like 30 rolls. I don't know. Maybe I'm not mathing
like,
right.
Yeah, so 30 is like not going to be enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll never be in a position again where I truly think about it, but
well, now that you put it out there, Fitz, now that you put it out,
experiment.
I feel like this should be a challenge for the community, right? In the same way that we've seen like solo Umaro challenges successfully completed, I think all Super Ball challenge is the way to go.
I like it.
And Jex already all the way through tier 1. With no real damage here. I think he threw up that Fenrir, and he's got multicast on it, so he'll be safe from getting punched in the face, which helps a lot. I don't know if he's got mute. Have you seen if he has mute or siren here?
I don't believe I saw mute or siren. So if there's going to be a tier where things get a little weird and long.
Mm-hmm. It could be this one. This is also, however, the tier where Merton is the most helpful, because you've got 4 targets. So I think if Sabin can have full damage Mertons, this might go pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Nobody War going into KT with 7 characters. So definitely nowhere near as much danger as Jex had walking in here with just 4.
No, both have they both have Merton protection. Nobody War's got like cheaper Merton. And I think doesn't have the dice flying around in the same way. That's been look at that. Yeah.
What were we looking at?
I forgot I had Nobody War stream up because I was checking their tracker and I was looking. I have a preview of something that's gonna happen, but that's what I was doing. Yeah. So apologies, I closed it, so I'm not ahead. Our restream here. That's where that soul save is. So that was in the tower. That's definitely a nice find.
That's clutch. Although I did just see Jex drop one of his elixirs on Sabin. So I guess, which surprised me, I would have expected him to take a swing here, but I guess he just wants to get the Mertens out as fast as he can on this tier, which is probably for him the most dangerous one.
Yeah, if Tiger hanging around in the back half of their hit points can get us into trouble. Not the Flare Star part, but the Doom Tusk, because we do have some dice on Jex's screen, so I would be definitely a little paranoid about Tiger muddling someone that's got dice, and then they throw at someone else, and we start a whole chain of sadness. But
looks like
those fish are punching harder.
They punch a lot harder.
It's collected a lot more progression, and Setzer's in the front row with a force shield.
But Sabin's still taking 0. Ten hits comes out. Looks like they're going to be okay, though. Shadow still has his image up, and I think most of the other people have snow mufflers.
Yeah, the random drops were pretty generous, and then we definitely found some goods along the way.
So this tier 2 is not going badly for Jex. I think Tiger's down. I think Blue Guy's down. I think Tools is down, and we're just down to it's only Magic left. If I've been counting correctly. Realm is out of MP.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, and Magic is in there constantly countering. Well, not constantly. It seems constant. But they're in the counter part of their hit points. So we're seeing a lot of these dispels.
We are showing off just how bad fixed dice can be.
They really have abandoned Jackson and this final fight, at least this part of it. We're seeing a lot of ones.
Yep, a lot of ones, a lot of threes.
Now, normally I would be a little concerned always having like low HP coming into tier 3 with that opening Merton, but we know that doesn't really pose. In fact, we might be like, please.
Opening Merton would be a nice place to start here, yeah.
Oh, the single target pearls, although they're pretty shielded.
How many dice does it take to get to the chewy center of a Magic?
I mean, the way they're rolling, there we go.
Finally. And that's tier 2 down. Didn't pose a lot of trouble, but we are very low on MP. I know Jex saw, he paused his cursor over that Soul Saber. I wonder if he's got that in his back pocket, if he noticed it, or if I'm just reading too much into his cursor actions. But he could recharge at least Sabin's MP off that if he wants to.
We did get the opening burn. Nice.
Very nice.
This is where we're going to be rooting for the dice and be nice. Once we can take the floating head figure down, not being nice. We have a lot of hit points to get through.
Yep, Lady's got, what is it, 10,000? I think it's exactly 9999 hit points. So chipping away at it with these dice, 400 here, 300 there. And the Pearl one comes out, tells us, we were below half. So we're not all the way back up where we started, but we're back at around 6. Chipping away at it. You know, I would be tempted He knows Flare, doesn't he? I would be real tempted with Sabin to drop a Flare here.
Like someone's been magic boosting for a reason. Yeah, it might be time to get Realm back in the game here. The magic too.
There we go.
Because we're gonna need definitely some. There's a roll. More reliable damage on this other part.
And Girl goes down. So, Sleep has about 40,000 HP. When he gets below 10,000, he will start to spam Meteo and Train, and he'll counter with Meteo and Train. Both of those are bad. Meteo has a relatively poor hit rate, but also packs a wallop when it does hit you. And Train mutes you and blinds you and does all sorts of bad stuff. So, ideally, you would want to try and get through those last 10,000 HP in a single turn. Probably we don't have that option here. Also, though, the fixed dice don't miss. So, he's going to pop a Fenrir, so we've got image up on everybody. That image will protect them as long as it stays up. It will protect them from Sleep's death counter. When Sleep is killed, Sleep hits you with 1 or 2 attacks called Calmness, which is a physical attack that does instant death. So if you've got image up, it protects you from that physical attack. And that's part of what makes Fenrir one of the two or three espers that you most want to see in the game.
Indeed. Yeah, it's really more of with the lower levels. If Meteo does hit, it's
like
like we were at full health for the most part as a party, and I don't think Shadow can take one, and Realm can barely take one. So we definitely can't take 2 in a row.
Yeah,
and that condemn timer is also ominously
definitely
about
gonna
to
crack
screw us.
that route. Oh no! Oh no, this could go real bad. Oh, it's just Shadow and Lock.
And Sabin doesn't have image anymore.
He does have the Paladin shield, so
can't protect him.
And, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a race.
Yeah, I think Nobody War is a wee bit more firepower.
I think, yeah. He's certainly
not like
been
a ton
more
though. And they still have one more. Yes, they have this one to get through, which they've peaked.
Oh, is Nobody War gonna back out and split up the party differently?
Oh, we loaded up, didn't we? We did. We're gonna go check what's on the other sides.
Yeah.
They might be doing a double dip.
Meanwhile, Jex just jumped right back in, which is exactly what I would do. You got pretty far there. Sees it's just okay. Nobody sees it's just a Ultras on the other side, but it looks like Nobody War is going to redivide his party and rewalk Kefka's tower here. It's a reasonable play.
Yeah, it's definitely the option if we're not feeling super confident in like spreading out our offense amongst the 3 lanes. Not having the raw power of many pairs of dice to kick around. And so now they know what they're facing, which is, we can beat those with pretty much either party.
Yeah. Jack's resetting because, once again, I think he forgot to put Fenrir on.
That was a post-save action.
Yep. There it is. So, I think part of what hurt Jexrock here is that Sabin, who is his most powerful damage dealer, is also his healer. And so Sabin was losing a lot of turns having to cast health to keep the other party members up. There's not a whole lot he can do about that. but I do think that that is an issue with his party composition that is part of why he's having so much trouble here.
We're looking for something on the overworld. I don't know if they're just looking to get off 30 for some reason. If they're looking to spike an item.
I mean, 30 is still kind of on the low side for where you want to be for Kefka, if you have your druthers. He's got the damage for it, but I could definitely see wanting to, if you're going to go through the trouble of walking all the way back through Kefka's tower, and one of your damage dealers is a quad atma weapon swinger, I could definitely see wanting to get a couple more levels here.
Yeah, and finding a boss, this should be a nice experience reward here.
So Jexrock popping back in. Second verse, same as the first. Cast Doom on the long arm. Cast Merton on everything else. Let's see how this goes.
Seltzer's up to 35. That's pretty good.
Looks like Nobody War wasn't terribly happy with that fight. Looking for something else.
Not gonna be happy with this one. Yeah, that Flame Eater fight's a little bit too long for not giving enough experience. Wow. This tier being a real pain with the R polarities, putting us in the front so we can get punched more effectively.
Now, if you got Fenrir up, that doesn't matter. But for the sake of safety, and especially after having wiped on tier 3, I can understand wanting to play it a little bit safe and take the turn to move everybody into the back row.
Yeah, we're pretty MP starved too. That way maybe we can't, because I think it was like 50 to summon. I know we had the Soul Saber, but it's like we did look at it. Those little things sometimes slip the mind as soon as some adversity pops up. And speaking of that, Nobody War's squad taking a nap on the job.
Fortunately, Dragoon Locke falling in from the sky, taking care of business. Yeah, the Soul Saber for MP recovery is a pretty fringe strat. So I could totally imagine it slipping Jex's mind.
Or perhaps just the dice will roll better this time.
That could be. He had some pretty epically bad dice rolls that last time around.
Got the tier 2. See how Lucia this behaves.
Ice Rod, it looks like. So he is worried about MP. He's trying to conserve a bit, using his high damage items, magic items, here on tier 2 where they do the most good. Although if you get muted later, I could imagine getting muted on tier 3. You might want to have those in your back pocket to try and get through Meteo phase.
Yeah, it's very interesting with there's a lot of Merton going on in the offense. And we also have a couple of elemental shields that we might want to break at a certain point, so it's a little bit of there's a lot of resource management going on Jack's side. Ew. Okay, good miss.
Yeah. So, dangerous parts on tier 3 here that we didn't see last time. Tiger Head could confuse one of your characters. Tiger Head has an instant death attack that will turn you into a zombie. Zombie characters will also attack you with your own dice. That's no good. But I think Tiger's down now, so looks like we're through the worst of it. And we're just gonna dice our way through. Hit. Interceptor coming out.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like nobody wore trying to get into that nice comfy spot where they feel like they can confidently take down Kefka first try.
And it's a reasonable thing to do. He's you have no idea, especially with the Chaos Crawler, what sorts of things your opponent would have found. All you can do is play the game in front of you. And going into Final Kefka with a party of people in the low 30s, I can see not wanting to live with that. Just, get a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those where it's like that. It's kind of on an extreme end of what we would usually see in terms of like it's a real on the edge of like enough power, but if things don't go our way particularly, we might be fighting it 2 or 3 times. And I think knowing that going in, you either decide, all right, well, I'm in for 3 tries, or you decide I'm gonna do it in 1, but we're gonna go find like a decent fight that I can grind up some levels. So I saw Soul Saber get thrown on and used though.
That's right. Yeah, he refilled his MP there. So Merton is back on the menu. Fitz, you mentioned the Maduin flag set a little while back. The last time I had to fight a Final Kefka with levels this low, it was definitely a Maduin one, and I jumped in there. I think I was like 2 hours into the flag set, and got into Final Kefka, and just could not break through the ceiling on tier 3. Ended up having to forfeit it. But yeah, those low-level Final Kefka fights, they can be so tempting. You can feel like it's just within your grasp, and then you get up to the top and it just isn't.
Yeah, indeed, especially if like playing with flags that are kind of like more experience starved, where we've been relying on like magic and dice to kind of get us through, like unlocking the tower at like level 20, being like, okay. I think I had unlocked the tower and cleared the lanes, and I was still like level 22, and it was just like, now what? And that's where I was like, how many Super Balls do I need to go buy? Like, but it's also just the HP problem, because even with the Super Balls, we don't have a way to break through Meteo, and so we got to be able to, like, we're still relying on luck. It never feels good to be like, I need things to go my way in this climb for it to work. But it can win a race. It's just, for me, a scary situation to be in.
Somebody's got to win that race, right? If you've got 20 people running the race, you might be the one of the 20 who gets good Super Bowl rolls.
True.
And Saban
I won't, but
pulling out Flare. Casting Flare on Sleep. Did Girl go down already? Nope. I wonder if that was a missed target.
The dice?
No, he cast Flare on Sleep.
Again.
There we go. Yeah, I think he just clicked on the wrong guy. Flare is a good call levels.
Here. Nobody was breaking off the grinds, heading into the tower. 2 more bosses.
What did he get up to?
Setzer with the egg is at 40 now, and then everyone else is in like 33.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Setzer's the double Atma weapon wielder, so you want the most levels there, for sure.
Yeah, between Ultras and Ghost Train, I don't think they really stand much of a chance. They will have a little bit more, we're resetting hit points.
Sleep says, "Was it Merton? I will show you how."
Another thing is like those condemns oftentimes don't factor in, but in these sort of longer scratch and claw tier 3 fights, they become much more of a factor.
Yep. Yeah, you start getting medio counters, you start having to recover, and that timer will count down real quick.
I think what we saw with Nobody War was just the habit of, like, I think they were preparing for like the skip lanes. And
Oh, I
so,
see.
and it can be hard to on the fly like figure out a different order for the switches. Like it's something that in you know, I guess it just in casual play would be easy, but in like a race setting it's like, wait a minute. I gotta think differently about who goes where and what order to fix this. Might as
So
well just
Jex is
reset.
on the ropes here one more time.
Oh no. Ooh. A miss, but we lost image.
So what
No,
do you do
it's
here?
still there. I can see it.
Yeah, you gotta try and get him out of medio phase and try and recover here. There's no other option. Oh no. Unfortunately, that Revivify was not enough to get him out of medio phase.
We don't have any more. We could do a lot of healing.
You could X potion him.
Now, would that be a 999, a quad 9 heal, or is that a true full heal?
No, it's a quad 9 heal.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is not a full heal.
Dang.
He's fighting. He's running out low on Phoenix Downs, though, so there's only so many times he can do this.
Yeah, this is that rough spot of 1, always medio happening, and then 2, getting hit with it a lot. And plus with the damage, ooh, we're just going to send it? Is this going to be in it? Well, this will heal Sabin.
Of course, the train comes out again, which is going to mute Sabin, taking away his biggest damage. Also, I think you cannot use health when you're muted, is that correct?
Correct.
Oof.
Yeah, we don't have enough hit points to take
2.
a hit.
Oh no.
That's where the low level, it's less of the like amount of damage and it's more we just can't take hits.
Yeah.
And medio, like AoEs are going to be problems. And I'm definitely curious to see what sort of adjustments, or if we're gonna, we're gonna go find some more power.
Gosh. And all of a sudden, Nobody War's in the lead.
Yeah, because those two bosses, they know what they are. They're not an obstacle. Nobody War. The slow and steady approach of taking that grind and getting the power has paid off. Unfortunately, I think the grinds around Kefka's tower are bad.
Ghost Poplium? Yeah, that's not very good. It's not nothing, but it's not much either. So, like, what else could he do here? Like, could he have any other options? Like, he could choose to sacrifice Shadow, say, right, and take off the Ice Shield and crack it once you get into Medio Phase, have Sabin crack the Ice Shield, hope it does quad 9s and pulls you through.
That's tough, though, because I feel like we're going to run into a similar issue on Tier 4 if we crack our shields on Tier 3 to get through.
Yeah, you'd still want to keep you could only really do it with one shield. If one shield didn't get you there, you'd probably be as stuck. But, you know, all Shadow was doing was throwing dice, so you could imagine taking down Final Kefka with just Lock, Sabin, and Realm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jex is going to fight his clutch of Flame Eaters.
Ooh, I was a little worried. Evil 2 going off with an X-Zone queued up is a recipe for disaster, but fortunately, Sabin did not get muddled and cast the spell in the right direction.
Good job, Sabin. I think we've all had that happen to us before, where we are, for example, at the beginning of a Ultros League seed and chose to do Opera first, grinded through all of the rats in the attic, land on the stage, fight a ghost train, and have Realm X-Zone your entire party because she gets confused.
Yeah, the secret
Of course.
to
Not
being a Worlds Collide racer is forgetting those things.
Having a short memory.
We have to, we want to remember and carry through things that are in our control that we could improve. Better choices that we can make, but we have to forget all those bad breaks that are just like, well.
Yep. Sometimes you get the bar, and sometimes, well, he gets you.
I mean, we could have everyone wearing peace rings, but then that's gonna decrease our damage. It's one of those where I know there's a solve for it, but it's just like we're trying to go too fast, so we just have to live with number 24. Oh, here we go.
Speaking of, good block, Lock.
Nobody wore.
And here we go. Hitting the switches for the first time on his side of the screen. 154.00. And
I feel like this is a flag set that would be really fun for a co-op, info sharing race.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Where you could kind of divvy it up, and it wouldn't seem as intimidating. Because it would be kind of like, okay, I'm going to go this way, you go that way. We find stuff, we can let each other know. I know there's been some interest for that, but I feel like in a more traditional character gated scene, there's not as much of that info sharing versus being in this setting it would be I have a partner. So we lost together.
Oh, wait, you went where and you found Umara? Let me go pick that up. Oh, there's free experience eggs over by Doma Castle.
Yeah, or just, oh, I found a good grind fight, I think it could take, the average times down, significant. If nobody in War and Jex were sharing information, I think they would finish significantly faster versus independently. I mean, some of that is just dividing the labor where... Ooh, these are good fights.
Where do you see these guys in the original game?
I know they're World of Ruin enemies, but I can't... I feel like so many times when I play in World of Ruin vanilla, I'm sprinting to go get the Moogle charm and then not taking fights anymore. So or taking the ones that I want and not just random ones.
So Jexvrock just normally those crushers they have a chance of dropping super balls. He got a Minerva instead. But I don't know
more
if that's
useful at this point.
He's those snow mufflers already. Not to mention all the elemental protection he could want. I guess it would free up those shields of his, that ice shield and that fire shield. Let him crack them. Another character that'll help too.
Yeah, Gao coming in at level 30. Maybe some more Phoenix Downs. So far, tier 1 going pretty good for Nobody War. Down to just the fist. I would have... With all the Merton we have flinging around in our Amma user, I would have liked to see like the Flame Shield or the Paladin Shield on Setsu, so they're getting constantly topped off and doing maximum damage.
Yeah, that would be a good play. I think, did he also have Setzer in the back row?
There might have been... Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering if there was an R polarity that we just didn't undo.
There might have been. Yeah.
That's what it looks like, yeah. Wish I could see where it's like, well, they got moved back and they're not at full health. Like, I don't want them to just get, like, punched down and then... But yeah, tier 2. We do have Mune on Nobody War's side.
That helps a whole lot.
Oh, we have an Imp Halberd. We could just throw that on and we don't even have to unimp. Although, our armor is useless, but... Could have got one in jump. That's another thing I would not have even thought of during a race, but as a commentator, the luxury of not attempting to play.
Swapping your jumper over to the Imp Halberd, YOLO Imp. Jack's still looking for good grind fights, still not really finding them.
Yeah, with like not... I guess with a Chaos Crawler, maybe I would. We saw Nobody War. They didn't particularly find a great one either. Like that Flame Eater was kind of the best one. That they were working on. Bosses are good sources. Well, most of them.
Rexol's probably got some pretty decent experience on him.
And in Jackson's case, they've already beat all their statue bosses, so they don't really... They're not concerned about scaling anymore. That auto mute is stopping them from... I'm sure if they could, they would just go bop some more dragons. But that would be a bad idea. So, instead...
Northcross coming out on Nobody War's side, freezing his Merton casters, I think. Which is inconvenient.
And we can't cast Ifrit on ourselves.
Unfortunately, no.
Well, Bro can just hang out and keep working on that spell cast.
Yeah, keep working on that spell. You'll get there eventually. Oh, this will help. South Cross is fire damage, so they are now free. Thank you, Tiger.
Yeah, with the Mertens and particularly like the Economizer, Nobody War not having to be as like stingy with the with the spells here.
Add Golem up for that 10 hits, which helps a lot. And with magic muted, this is just have to absorb damage till he's dead, so no real danger left on this tier.
Ooh. We're gonna see some Super Balls, I think, on somewhere, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe
It's
their
looking-
backup plan for when MP runs out.
We have a couple people that have Flare. Jack's picking up their Cyan. Gonna do this Kefka at Narsh. Unfortunately, we know there's Doomgaze at the end.
Well, hopefully that math check isn't going to be a problem here. I'm not sure Jack's even saved at the save point before triggering this fight. Are those Vectigoyles on Jex's side? That's a pretty good fight, if you're looking for experience. It's a KT enemy.
Yeah. I'm really just rooting... What I would hate to see happen is if Jax grinds a bunch of levels and then gets masked. I think there's enough of a level difference scattered through the party that it wouldn't be a full party wipe, but that's like... the danger zone. They would have no way of knowing
That's for sure.
that would be coming. But I'm not sure we saw a save before we entered this check.
In fact, I'm pretty sure we didn't.
Or at a bid.
Wait tricking to keep that timer from going off. And moment of truth. Nope, Jex is
Ooh.
okay.
That's probably why they took the fight, was to get someone off of
Oh, it could be.
the 30. Because I think I at least saw one bad digit.
Is this going to be enough, or is Sabin going down? Oh, it was enough. Calmness comes out, Golem is up, and we are on to Tier 4. Our first glimpse of Final Kefka at 2 hours and 4 minutes. Doomgaze goes down on Jex's side. Little bit of cross-screen vengeance here.
Yeah, what a wild and unpredictable ride it has been. Definitely an incredible, commendable effort from Jex Frock of just aggressively sending it in the tower.
Yeah.
And, you know, as mentioned, I think a couple fortunate rolls go their way. You know, they could have made it through with those, with the tools that they had.
They could have, but it's a really tricky situation. You get to Tier 3, you just don't quite have enough damage to push through.
Go Super
And there's a whole
Balls!
lot you can do.
We've got a lot of muted people, so it is good to have these consumables too.
There's
Throw
Fallen
out.
One coming out. That's going to play havoc with the Atma weapon user.
Yeah, unfortunate. I think between them and Morphed Realm, they're really like our two biggest damage dealers.
Locke's doing okay. He's definitely helping out. 5k that turn. Just under 10k coming out of Setzer per turn. We're into Beyond Chaos mode. Kefka pulls out his severed head, and we've got a little bit of time here to put in the damage. Before he casts Goner. Locke will probably just jump over it.
Yeah, I
Saving
don't
with
think
Super
we're going to
Ball.
be able to do enough. Of course, you have to throw your bouncy balls. Now, this is a little bit of a dangerous phase. We're back to getting potentially countered. And Kefka can
That's
counter
true.
with Ultima at under 10k.
So
So
far,
we're thinking, we're counting. Revenger is fine.
Oh, he's just going for it though. Super balling, Mertoning.
Oh,
Ooh,
the single.
Hitting Lock up in the air. That'll help with the ultimate counter. Should
Yeah, that's a good mitigation.
Oh,
There we
and there it
go.
is. The Krakow at 207.55. Nobody War is our Chaos Crawler Tuesday winner.
Just an incredible performance. Get those GGs.
Yeah, GG's everybody. GG's for our runner here. Showing that slow and steady wins the Chaos Crawler.
Yeah, we'll see if we get Nobody War in the booth. Yeah, I will. It looks like they're joining. Let's go ahead and pull them up right now. Nobody War, welcome. You are the winner. How does it feel?
Man, nothing like grinding on flame meters in the forest.
Yeah, so you after you got your requirements, you took a look at what you had, and you decided this doesn't seem like it's quite good enough to take me through to the win. What were you looking for? What did you decide you needed to get to before you jumped into KT? Nobody were?
Deep in thought.
Yes. Long consideration. Well, perhaps that
Checks.
risk just took it out of him. He's
Yeah,
gotta
see.
recover.
Jex has accumulated enough power to make another attempt.
As well as a couple more characters. I think he's up to 6 characters now. That'll help a little bit more cannon fodder. Some people who can crack some rods or something like that.
Indeed.
Possibly throw some dice.
Ah. Briefly.
He comes and goes like the wind.
Well, we get that figured out a little bit. Unfortunately, my time is up. I do need to slide out of the booth here. I have an appointment with a race of my own.
Well,
But I wanted to thank the runners, SpeedGaming for hosting us, and of course, Dr. DT for answering all my random questions about this mode. Yeah, hopefully you can talk to Nobody War. I do think this would be a great marathon run, kind of wacky. You know, maybe more of like a After Dark vibe. You know, when things get weird. But yeah, I definitely had a blast watching and calling in, and we'll catch everyone later.
Yeah, thank you, Fitz, and good luck on your run. Yeah, so Nobody War, if you are able to
Am I
answer
here?
some questions.
Am I back?
Sometime. Yeah, you're back.
Good.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. So what did you think of that seed? What do you this how was this dungeon crawler experience for you?
This one was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The split XP was a little rough. I really was debating whether I should be taking more fights along the way. I kind of ran into some choice boss encounters like that early Inferno, and I'm like, maybe I'll be able to slide by with the minimum bit of XP I'm getting. It was like a miracle I found that grind fight in the forest towards the end, because I would have been fighting for quite some time to try to get those levels up.
Yeah, the split XP is really brutal in seeds like this. We were having some flashbacks in the booth here to the Maduin flag set from the recent tournament.
Oh yeah.
And rolling up on Final Kefka in your high 20s is a recipe for disaster. In
Yeah,
fact,
it's not
we
going to do
saw
it.
that, Jexfrock got to Final Kefka at like 130 or something. But he had 2 wipes on tier 2. Then before he decided that was enough, and he had to go get some levels somewhere.
Where was he at the time?
He was like 30, maybe 31 was his highest character.
Okay. Yeah. I'm never real confident, like low 30s. I played plenty of practice seeds where I've like put my levels at 30, and even with like all the equipment that gives to you, it's hard to get through those sometimes.
Yeah, so the equipment was interesting here. With the random drops and steals, we were comparing your route to Jex's route, and between the two of you, you had some pretty good damage options.
Yeah, I think I dropped an economizer off that very first fight, and I went back, and they wouldn't drop anymore. I really wanted another one for saving.
Yeah, those economizers were a really great find on your side. Jex got 3 fixed dice off of a fight pretty early on, and that's been a lot of his damage. You got the offering. I think that was out of a box to go with your Atma weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jex could really have used the economizer. He's relying on a lot of Merton damage and doesn't have a lot of MP recovery. But, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles in Chaos Crawler.
Yeah, me and him ran a good one a few weeks ago, and I found some dice, and I don't think he found them. I had a Genji Glove and offering, and it was just like so early. I just rolled everything, the entire seed. We've been pretty close in our little test runs for this. The last one we did, though, it had N and D on, and man, I was having a hard time. I could not find an early encounter.
Normalize and Dessert will definitely cause some trouble.
He looks like he's putting in some work on this one now, though. I didn't catch his levels. He's got to be close to like 40-something.
Yeah, he's definitely in a much safer spot here than he was a little while ago. I anticipate he'll probably be able to break through the damage he needs on tier 3. You can see the numbers he's putting in with these Mertens, dealing something like, what, 24,000 per pop here per turn? Well, I
Tier 2 is
unfortunately
not long for this world.
no, I think it's gonna go pretty quick here. We did see Jex using Soul Saber for MP recovery on Sabin, which is a great niche strat. I really like that one myself.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So I unfortunately do have to drop out of here for another engagement, but Nobody War, thank you again
Yeah.
for a great stream, for showcasing this Chaos Crawler mode, which is near and dear to
Yeah.
my heart. And
Yeah,
congratulations
all props to
again.
you, sir, for creating this monster that I can't pull myself away from. So
I'm so glad that you and other
I
people
really
in the community
appreciate this.
it. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
Take care, Doc. This does look like it's going to be the end of Tier 2 here. I'm not sure if Jex found that golem. Multi-summon on was very nice for Final Kefka. Got the Paladin shield online too. That was a good play. I was struggling to find that fourth piece of protection. It's dice time. He looks like he's just going to power through this. Good miss. I love the Frankenstein saving. Wonder how much shopping Jex did. I really didn't buy much. I would sell what I could. But those prices were kind of ridiculous. Not sure if I can get him pulled in here. I think I think he should get a thing and come in, right? Ah. GG's, sir.
That was a disaster.
Yeah, I kind of heard Fitz and Doc had to get out of here because they had a race going on. But I heard you were in there pretty early with some low levels.
Oh yeah.
I cleared mid and realized I was like still in my like mid to high 20s, and I'm like, I got to get out of here and get some more levels on these guys. And I found Flame Eater in a forest and grinded about 9 or 10 of those fights and was able to pick everybody up into like the mid 30s.
I could not find a fourth character to save the life of me until the very end.
Oh, jeez,
Like,
man, I had 7.
Like I had KT unlocked, and I did not have a fourth character.
Wow. Yeah, I got a bunch of characters early and just ended up chasing Espers because I got smacked by the dragon in Ancient Castle real bad, and I was not about to take another dragon fight.
Did we... Was Split EXP on?
Yeah, it was.
I totally missed it. That explains a lot. I actually managed to take down an early Pearl Dragon.
Oh, wow. I got hit with a random like Inferno encounter when I was had a Moogle Charm off.
The thing that saved me with the Pearl Dragon fight, or sorry, White Dragon, was that it was Carbuncle Esper because multi-summon was on.
Right. Okay.
I managed to take down the White Dragon because, and I ended up with fixed dice, a whole bunch of fixed dice.
Yeah, I saw that. That was amazing. I had some economizers. It dropped off the very first fight I took. I tried to go back to that same spot and grind up some more, but they just were not dropping anymore after that.
Yeah, it was the Opera House rats that dropped dice.
Okay.
As
yeah, we both had Merton online. I was I had a jumper with Locke with an Orlance. I had Atma offering on my Setzer. Sabin just stayed there and kind of healed, and then Realm just threw Merton.
What I wouldn't have given MP. For an offering, I would.
I think I found it in a box somewhere.
I would have beaten tier 3. I died on tier 3 due to Meteo 2 times in a row.
Wow.
If I had an offering, I think I would have plowed through Sleep without too much issue.
Yeah.
But, you know...
Yeah, I saw you post something in the race room, and I was like, oh, he might be in Kefka and just took a wipe. And I was getting worried because I was in the forest fighting Flame Eater over and over and over again.
Yeah, I had KT unlocked at like 45 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nuts because I was able to smack that nice early dragon. I even took a second dragon to get some levels that I did solo lock. I ended up with a free Pally shield.
I thought you unlocked it.
I had some good equipment, but it wasn't enough. Like snow mufflers, I had a Pally shield, elemental shields, a Minerva. I just had to grind to level 30, and that's what did it. Plus that magic +2 Esper sitting on Sabin the whole seed. Yeah, Sabin was able to equip a magic +2 Esper, so I gave him an earring and a... What was the other thing I gave him? The golden earring. So I could,
Okay. Yeah, half
and-
price.
And for the first time, like, ever, I used Soul Saber.
I heard. Yeah, that's such a great play.
Because I'm like, I only got 2 elixirs now to, refill my MP. Well, Sabi can use the Soul Saber, and I can use the elixirs on Realm to keep the magic going.
Yeah, I was holding on to like 1 X ether all game long. I had no elixirs and like 2 X potions for tier 4. It was dicey.
I was surprised how much MP the Soul Saber gave you back. It was a lot.
I wonder what the formula is on that.
Yeah, it like pretty much filled up my MP bar all the way.
It's almost like an Osmos cast.
Yeah, and without the animation.
Sweet.
So that's a good one to know for the future. Instead of going down the Osmos path, go Soul Saber. It's just faster. So yeah, that's something we have to look into. Is the formula for that? I agree with you.
Swanch will get it for us.
Yeah, the Schwantz, get on that.
Well, thank you, man, for
Yeah, thank you for the
running
many
these with me the
Chaos
past
Crawlers.
couple weeks. I think we got something good going on here. So
I agree.
I
Just
definitely enjoy it.
You mind if I close this out?
You got it.
All right. Anybody here that is new to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide and would like to learn this lovely randomizer, please join our Discord at ff6worldscollide.com. There is a link to our Discord. We have a fantastic community. Please give our Restream team and our racers a follow. And GG's, thanks for tuning in.